Tubatualile bene bakayona wile sense. Tubatualile sense oh. Tubatualile bene bakayona wile. Tubatualile bene bakayona wile sense. Tubatualile sense oh. Tubatualile bene bakayona wile. Tubabombele bene bakayona wile tuende. Tubabombele tuende oh. Tubabombele bene bakayona wile. Tubabombele bene bakayona wile tuende. Tubabombele bene oh. Tubabombele bene bakayona wile. Tubakunde ko bene bakayona wile bana. Tubakunde ko bana oh. Tubakunde ko bene bakayona wile. Tubakunde ko bene bakayona wile bana. Tubakunde ko bana eh. Tubakunde ko bene bakayona wile. Tubakunde ko bene bakayona wile.
So about, this is probably about 50 by 100 or so. So it's very interesting, like just land.
Good afternoon.
Merci beaucoup, ensemble. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mantabala 15 67.
Yenyewe wanasema tungoma tukufanya nini? Wanadansi. Kuna watoto wanaocheza muziki sana, muziki. Na wao wamehitaji, tumetaka masauti ile saa vile radio nini jua kwa na sisi tuendelee michezo ya mzuri sana.
Sasa ili tusije tukapoteza ile talanta yao, ni vizuri wao waimbe wenyewe na kucheza ngoma wenyewe na kudansi wenyewe. Unajua siku hizi wengine wanaweka tu kanda alafu unaanza kucheza za wengine badala ya kuendeleza wewe mwenyewe. Let me translate this. They are asking for the hula hoop. They are also asking for drums. Then there are also young men asking for pool table. Yeah. So I think it's important we listen to the kind of suggestions they may be making.
Bali baba temuisha nomba ichi samukuba na shamakamaka ni myangalo ngabapita muri uyu ya kuafuti kuba bwese shamo balesa mukunaka bafuaya kana mukabalunjilepo ilingiline abene ngabana kabalafuaya kufimuti kuli ikintu bala mukupela makono mbafira kutifya balente no wasi ife twingafuaisha pano pa plani fyakwe bati okubalunjila pwe miangalo abene balailanjile miangalo baitemo balitemo amapu GD6 ila intu babika palika itintuifi ila ba 6 ila GD6 elo nemianga na maskulu ayasuma yakwe bati nangunga basambilila yabaletela ko bumbi busuma kontaji
Awena kuwama.
Ni sipantu.
Polisi miangalo yale kana isuma. Uchona to mwishako sana kuno. Bantu kulina masambililo.
Masambililo mpange sana.
Aya yantu twale sambilila kwesu. Aya pusana ko. Awe fili kwa fya pusana ko.
Okay.
Bantu kuno kuliko ne miangalo.
Goes right. Goes right. Goes right. Goes right. Then goes right. Goes right. Goes right.
I think we identified about 30 volunteers, and that's especially in terms of child protection. And we were lucky that most of the volunteers we identified, they were trained teachers from Congo. So we tried to utilize them in terms of working with them under child protection, like at the CFS, are the ones who are trying to manage the children in terms of engaging the children in structured play. And we try to also build their capacity in terms of trying to identify and also respond and prevent to child protection concerns which are really affecting the children.
It's both saddening and both inspiring to see what Plan is doing here and to see how people live from far away from the distant places, because when you're in Lusaka, it tends to feel like everything is okay in our country, but yet people would be suffering and would be living in tents whilst people are living in houses. And to see young children, you know, the future of Africa, not only in Zambia but Africa at large, living in a small town where it's far from the busiest places, where they are in the bordering towns, and these people have been running away from war. But Plan just decides to come and initiate a program that will just teach them, educate them the basic life skills they can get, and it's doing the best they can. They're educating them through various programs. They've started primary school now for the children, and they've also done grade 1. Young people, as the youth advisory panel, let's take the lead in initiating the change here. The job that's here, wow, there is a lot here. We can train these young people with various skills. The youth advisory panel is a nice panel. Why? Because it's a dynamic group. They have very different talents and abilities. We can share what we have here. This is a space where we can just initiate different programs. You know, there's the champion of change. Within the youth panel, we have the champions of change, meaning we can train young people here. This is where we can start engaging the life skills and the little we have gained from whatever programs we have been engaged in.
showing this kind of support, they will be learning a lot.
We were given 14 teachers to be trained from here, but the 14 teachers, they have only taken 5 from there, just for a start. Okay? So the balance that is remaining from 14, Mantapala, yes, they would also give it for Mantapala. So, meanwhile, this is what is happening.
Yeah. No, we are grateful. Thank you very much.
Language Kiswahili?
I'd say a large majority speak it, but I don't think a large majority use it actively.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they don't come necessarily from the Kivu area.
Exactly.
For me, the experience has been quite, enlightening. A lot of things to learn, to interact with the staff, the volunteers, and the partners we are working with, particularly the Ministry of Education, the Child Helpline, and to see the kind of program they are put together. For me, I'm convinced creating the space, the child-friendly space is not enough, but what goes in there. And to see the thinking that has happened to make sure that there is a cycle they follow when they come, and there is a timing. There's children who are playing with the swings here, with the slides. Others are in class. They are learning. The very little ones, the baby class, the middle, and the reception, level. And to keep the children engaged and really to see how they are enjoying every moment as they play and learn. And I've also seen a team of very committed young volunteers here who are serving as teachers and doing different roles, some keeping the water station going where children come to drink water, others cleaning around to make sure that children are not hurt, others watching, even one falls down that they need to be rushed to the clinic, rushing them as well. And making sure that everything is running well. The other thing I've also enjoyed is to see how the Ministry of Education is committed to this. They have done the assessment for all the learners in the camp at different age categories. They have, categorized them, and they have trained the teachers. And today they just brought us the materials to help the teachers to be effective as they continue helping the children to learn. And yesterday the engagement with the volunteers and the young women here was also very enlightening, to hear that girls have their specific needs and the young boys have their specific needs. Something I wouldn't have thought about myself, even when thinking of the young women's kit, what they need to have, talking of the lack of things which can help them to keep themselves neat, could be actually exposing them to levels of vulnerability where they could be sexually exploited. The boys saying they also want to be engaged throughout the day, and the girls seeing the opportunity really being in Zambia, because in Congo they say they don't have the opportunity to be educated, and being here in Zambia they see a lot of commitment and they are hopeful that they will have an opportunity to learn even after grade 12. So it's amazing to see what's happening and the level of commitment.
Yeah, I think for the future, what we have to look forward to right now at the interagency meetings and a lot of the conversations that I'm having with the partners is Mantapala, refugee settlement. So a lot of our friends, our partner friends here have been talking about what we've done, what Plan International has done in Kenani, and if we're able to replicate it in Mantapala. So we'll definitely be able to replicate it. We've learned our lessons from Kenani. And whatever we do in Mantapala will be bigger and better, I'm certain. I know I'm very much looking forward to primary schooling and secondary schooling as well, because when we hold our parenting meetings, a lot of the parents are grateful for the early childhood education, but they're also worried about their other children that we haven't yet captured. Even though we're capturing many of them in non-formal education, they're quite interested in formal education.
What I've seen, what we need to focus more is there is still less services for the adolescent girls and boys currently, and because we decided to start with the early years. And as we move to Kenani, we move to Mantapala, which is a more permanent kind of or long-term settlement. I think we need to begin mobilizing resources so that we can, one, replicate the child-friendly space here and the learning center, but also come up with a space where adolescent girls and boys can be more engaged as well, because currently they are not as engaged as the very young ones. Some of them are serving as volunteers, but they also want to learn. And we need to start thinking about secondary age or grades 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, as well. And I hope as we continue mobilizing resources and talking with other partners, we will find ways of actually coming up with the opportunities for building skills for the young women and the young boys so that they can also be engaged. It seems like there will be a lot of opportunity for them, particularly in helping with the construction there. Those are opportunities which can employ them in one way. So vocational skills like building skills or carpentry skills will come in handy in this situation, because as the families begin to settle, they will need those skills to help them. And the young people can provide those skills if they are well trained, and they can be gainfully employed as they help in the resettlement process as well. Continued awareness on issues of child marriage here, because we know the young women here are very vulnerable, and this is a big problem in Zambia. It's also a problem in Congo, and we need to continue talking with them, possibly begin doing the Champions of Change module for boys and girls, and we are thinking of working with the YAPs or the Youth Advisory Panel and the other young people to begin introducing the Champions of Change model in a refugee setting and see how it can help them appreciate gender equality and live together in harmony where they also respect each other's rights. Yeah.